Hello, it's Wendy Passmore, and we're here again for this week's prayerful meditation. So, if this is your first time of joining us, this will be a half an hour or so of me guiding you through some prayerful meditations that you can relax in God's presence and just have a sense of God's activity and your activity in the divine in this past week and through meditation on a psalm that might speak to us where we are right now on our journey. So I just pray that this be a really deeply meaningful time. Some people have described it like a mini retreat. So it's just really taking some time and just really being present to my spiritual life. Inviting you to light a candle and to maybe have a journal that you can do some writing as we go through this time together. So let's first just stop and relax and just sit in our chair and just take some deep breaths. Breathing in God's love, God's presence. Breathing in deeply God's love and presence. Breathing in deeply God's love and presence. And as we're relaxed in this quiet place, may we invite the Divine One to enter into our hearts anew, that we might be deeply reflective on God's power and presence at work in our hearts and lives. May this half hour be a time of quiet, peaceful revelation of divine activity. So even as we sit on our chairs, we're reminded that these chairs are holding us and we just take it for granted. And may we come to an understanding anew that God holds us in ways that we're not even aware. And may we be open anew to that presence and that love. I'd like us to start by listening to the song by Shine and Knoll about peace. And as you listen to this, just stay with maybe a word or a phrase that really spoke to you, or just what feelings you're having as you listen to this.
Peace be with you, oh my dear one. Peace be with you, precious child. Peace be with you, oh my dear one. Peace be with you, precious child. Angels hover all about you. They protect you night and day. Angels hover all about you. They will guide you on your way. God is with you precious child. God is with you, oh, my dear one. God is with you, precious child. You are blessed and you are holy. Precious gift God gave to me. You are blessed and you are holy. You're an angel I can see. Peace be with you, oh my dear one. Peace be with you, precious child. Peace be with you, oh my dear one. Peace be with you, precious child.
So let's just take a few moments and prayerfully maybe write or just be with the experience you had in listening to that song. So, as we carry on in this quiet place, I would invite us now to invite the Spirit to journey with us through the past week's experience and to stay with a moment that was especially grace filled or life giving, where we really felt maybe the divine presence somehow in an encounter with someone or out in nature or just in my own inner world. I had a sense of well being and contentment. So, whatever it was, just allow the Spirit to take us to that moment of grace, of life giving. And as we're writing about this experience, perhaps we can reflect on what is God's message to me in this experience. And again, let us invite the Spirit to take us through and remind us of our experiences of the past week. And where was there a moment where I was especially challenged? Maybe there was angst in a relationship or in an encounter, or maybe something rose up in me that I'm not terribly happy with that I need to look at. But let's invite the Spirit to take us through those experiences in the past week that were especially challenging, and stay with the feelings and see what it is the Spirit might be showing us in that experience. And what is God's message to me, do I think, in this? And I'd like us now just to take a few moments and be really honest about how I'm doing and how I'm feeling in this COVID time. You know, what has there been anything good that's come out of this COVID time? And what's particularly challenging for me? What are my feelings and emotions around it? And perhaps we can just do some writing to God about that. Where we're grateful, perhaps, of what we're experiencing that's positive in this, and where it's really hard, and to be really honest about that. And in the midst of our writing, what is the grace that I'd be asking for? Is it more patience or a grace of faith rather than fear? You know, what is it? that I ask for the grace in this time. And we're going to now just reflect on a psalm. I'm going to read it through 3 times. And the first time, I would invite us to just stay with the word or the phrase that seems to speak to me, and then I'll take us through the second time. So, what word or phrase seems to speak to me at this moment? This is excerpts from Psalm 62, and it's written in more inclusive modern language by Nan Merrill. For you, my soul waits in silence, enfolding me with strength and steadfast love. My faith shall remain firm. Yet, how long will fear rule in my life, holding me in its grip like a trembling child? Fear keeps me from living fully, from sharing my gifts. It takes pleasure in imprisoning my soul. In the silence rests my freedom and my guidance, for you are the heart of my heart. You speak to me in the silence. Trust and love at all times as we pour out our heart to you. Let silence be our refuge. Being of low estate is but a sigh. Being of high estate is misleading. In the balance, either high or low is of little consequence, for they are gone in one breath. Fear begets fear, love begets love. For you alone, my soul waits in silence. From you comes life, love, and light. So, what is the word or the phrase that seems to speak to you or resonate with you right now? So, as I read it through a second time, we're invited to do some prayerful reflection as to why that word or phrase seemed to speak to us at this moment in time. For you, my soul waits in silence, enfolding me with strength and steadfast love. My faith shall remain firm. Yet how long will fear rule in my life, holding me in its grip like a trembling child? Fear keeps me from living fully, from sharing my gifts. It takes pleasure in imprisoning my soul. In the silence rests my freedom and my guidance, for you are the heart of my heart. You speak to me in the silence. Trust and love at all times as we pour out our heart to you. Let silence be our refuge. Being of low estate is but a sigh. Being of high estate is misleading. In the balance, either high or low is of little consequence, for they are gone in one breath. Fear begets fear, love begets love. For you alone, my soul waits in silence. From you comes life, love, and light. So prayerfully reflect on why that word or phrase speaks to me at this moment in time. And after our third reading, we're invited to respond, prayerfully respond to the message that we've received from this reading. For you, my soul waits in silence, enfolding me with strength and steadfast love. My faith shall remain firm. Yet how long will fear rule in my life, holding me in its grip like a trembling child? Fear keeps me from living fully, from sharing my gifts. It takes pleasure in imprisoning my soul. In the silence rests my freedom and my guidance. For you are the heart of my heart. You speak to me in the silence. Trust and love at all times as we pour out our heart to you. Let silence be our refuge. Being of low estate is but a sigh. Being of high estate is misleading. In the balance, either high or low is of little consequence, for they are gone in one breath. Fear begets fear, love begets love. For you alone my soul waits in silence. From you comes life, love, and light. So let's respond to what we've heard and experienced in this reading. What we just experienced is called Lectio Divina. It's like holy reading, or it's taking scripture and just not intellectually, theologically discerning there, but it's inviting us to see how it speaks to my life and my heart on my journey. And it came from the Benedictine tradition, where the monks would just sit and listen to the reading of the day, and it would be read over and over and over. And once one felt that they had received a message from the divine, they would go off into their cells and just let that word or that message nurture them in the day. So that's what we've sort of experienced here. How is this reading nurturing us or speaking to us in some way? So, for the closing few moments, I would like us just to prayerfully reflect on what I'm grateful for right now, or maybe three things that we could just write down um, that I'm grateful for. Um, yeah, in the midst of all this, what is it that I'm grateful for? And I'd like us to close just by quietly in our hearts repeating these words and to continue repeating them until we truly know the truth of them in our experience. I am loved. I am known. I matter. I am loved. I am known. And I matter. I am loved. I am known. And I matter. May we be deeply blessed as we continue on this journey of seeking the divine and being a reflection of this divine love in the world. So, till next time, blessings.